certainly delighted with the way we started the game. Couldn't have gone better in terms of getting an early score. But I think we knew that Scotland would throw everything at us, and they did that early on in the game as well. So I think the way we managed them, their attack and our defence, and then when we had our opportunities, we were pretty clinical. So certainly the first 40 minutes was really good and really pleasing, and I guess the game broke up a little bit in the second half. We had to make a few changes, guys playing out of position a little bit, and as did they. But inevitably a game like that, high ball in play, meant that it did break up a little bit as the game went on. But I think the work that we'd done in that first half set a brilliant foundation for the result.
Is there any update on the 3 injured guys?
No, it's difficult to say at the moment. It's probably 12 hours or so out of the game. It's mad when there's a late kickoff. We're getting used to them, but it takes a bit of time for sort of injuries to settle, and then guys to get assessed, etc. So it'll be the next sort of 24, 48 hours where we'll be able to get a better read on those guys. But everyone's in good form today, which is nice. But obviously there'll be a bit of work going on in the next 24, 48 hours to assess those guys that had bumps.
Just last one for me. You mentioned the high ball in play, and it was noticeable that guys were pretty tired in that second half. Understandable given the effort, but you have backed the team through this. You haven't made maybe as many changes as some of the other teams in the pool stages. How is the fitness, the condition going into what's going to be a high octane game next weekend?
Yeah, I think the condition is good, Rory. I mean, I don't think that's an issue. It's, I guess, for us in terms of the way we want to play the game, we want to play with speed of ball and we want to keep the ball alive, but we also need to manage the game as well, and we need to make sure that we have a balance to the way we play, and that's something that we'll have a look at over the next couple of days, making sure that we when we get opportunities like we did against Scotland, we take them, but we also we need to make sure that we play in the right areas of the pitch and manage our energy, and so that when we have opportunities, we can be right on point.
Thanks, Simon.
Thanks, Rory. Kieran Kennedy.
Hey, Simon. The players seem to enjoy some of the big moments in defence last night as much as they did the tries. There was a lot of fist pumping, a lot of kind of engagement with the crowd. As a coach, it must be really pleasing to see a team draw so much energy from that part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's been said before, Kieran, but I think this team understands how important the defence is to the overall success of the team, and we work incredibly hard on being disciplined and not giving sides any access. And credit to the players, the way they go about their business, and like you say, you can sense the feeling of excitement when the opposition had the ball. It was a chance for us to put a stop to their attack and take a bit of energy away from them as well. And I think we saw that certainly in the first half, where they had long periods of possession. Our discipline was good, and they didn't get a huge amount of gain line against us. But that's part and parcel of the game. The players understand the value of defence, what it gives us as a team, but also what it gives our attack then on the back of it.
And I just asked about Caelan Doris as well. 22 tackles last night, 12 carries, 1 big turnover as well. Just another really influential and impactful performance.
Yeah, Caelan was brilliant again, as he's been, I guess, for the last sort of couple of years. Really, he's really grown and matured. But for those guys around him as well, I think there was a real collective effort last night in the way that we attacked, the way we defended. So yeah, he's been excellent. But I think you can only be as good as those guys around you as well, and I think the support and the collectiveness of the group allows players like Caelan to play the way he does.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kieran. Neil Tracy.
Hi, Simon. The New Zealand you're playing this weekend, are they much different to the New Zealand you took on in the Test series last summer?
I guess personnel-wise, they'll be fairly similar. And as much as we won that series, there was very little between the two teams. We're similar in personnel as well. So yeah, there won't be a huge amount of change from that team that we played in the summer series, and even the team that we played in the November before that. They've been pretty consistent over the last 4 years in terms of their selection, and as have we. So yeah, not a huge amount of change, I don't think, in terms of what we were up against in the summer.
And just then, will you check in with Joe at all this week, send him a text, or is that just something you leave to next Saturday when you run into each other?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be making contact, but I guess it's one of those things you spend a lot of time with people over a period of time, but this week we'll be focusing on ourselves and making sure that we can do what we can do, and then we'll catch up with Joe and Fiki and the rest of their coaching group after the game.
Lovely, thanks, Simon.
Thanks, Neil. Ed Elliott.
Morning, Simon.
Morning.
You've had 2 games at Stade de France now, and you've possibly got 3 more to come. Aside from the fantastic support that you've had there, how beneficial is that in terms of continuity and familiarity, and do the players now sort of feel at home there following 2 big wins?
Yeah, I guess it does allow us to build some continuity and familiarity. We've been very fortunate playing there over the last couple of weeks with an incredible amount of Irish support, and that's not lost on the players in terms of even just running out an hour before kickoff. The stands are almost full, and there's a lot of green in there. So it has been fantastic, and I think like I say, it's not lost on the players, the amount of support, the amount of time and effort people have gone to get to Paris. And the players are really excited about keeping them going and making sure that they have something to enjoy and get singing, because I think that certainly helps us as a team in terms of building momentum throughout a game.
And last night, obviously, Ireland were in complete control at half-time, and Scotland were desperately looking for a way back into the game. As a coaching staff, what was going through your minds during that flashpoint early in the second period, when all the players came together, and how happy were you? How happy were you with how the players dealt with that situation?
Yeah, listen, I mean, these things happen, and I guess there was a similarance in the Georgia-Wales game. I think it's important that we don't take a backward step, but it's also important that we're disciplined and we don't give an opportunity for a team to get under our skin or to put us off our game. And I think we did that really well. I think on the whole yesterday there was a lot of respect between the two teams, in terms of the exchanges, and sometimes things happen in a game and there's a little bit of hot-headedness from either team and a couple of players, but I think we dealt with it pretty well, and I think the referee dealt with it pretty well.
And just as a quick follow-up to that, have you spoken to Dan Sheehan? Is he all right after being ploughed over the advertising hoarding?
Yeah, I think he's okay. I think he got saved by Mick Carney, our team manager, so I think he's okay, and I think Mick would have stepped in if anything had kicked off.
Thanks, Jerry.
Simon.
Me, you called there, Peter, yeah?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Me, you called there, yeah.
Hi,
Simon.
Hey,
Hi, Simon. Sorry, just moving on completely to the All Blacks game again, but how do you feel about running into a team where Joe Schmidt clearly has a bigger influence, don't you think, than he would have done during the summer series? You can see more of an imprint on him, and after all, no opposition coach probably knows this team better.
No, yeah, it's a good point. I'm sure Joe's influence has certainly increased over the past 12 months. But we've got to be excited about playing. The standard bearers of World Cup. New Zealand have always turned up for World Cups, and we've seen the way they've dealt with a little bit of kind of adversity in the pre-season game against Africa, and then the game against France could have gone either way, to be honest. And then they built up, they built nicely across the last couple of weeks in terms of their performances and the way they want to play. But certainly, Joe will know plenty about what we're about, the individuals within our group. But we'll have an insight as well into what they might try and do as well. So I think it's finely balanced, Jerry, and it's an interesting subplot, I guess, to the game itself.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Mick Scully.
Hi, Simon.
Hi, Mick.
How's it going? I know it's 4 years ago since the last quarter final, but quite a few of the lads were involved that night. How would you sum up the change in mentality since then to now?
Well, I guess that's part of it. There are new guys who have come in, but we've experienced so much across the last 4 years. Those guys that played in 2019 will have undoubtedly gained experience, gained understanding around different parts of the game, how to approach games, how to adapt during games, but also the kind of fresh blood that came in after 2019 has had unbelievable experiences across the last couple of years. I guess part of what Faz wanted to do was stress the players over the last couple of years, put them in those situations, so they've got that experience and bank of understanding to draw from when it comes to these big games. And this is no bigger. It's no bigger than playing New Zealand in the quarterfinal. We'd been there before 4 years ago. We were well beaten on that day. So I think there's lots of good learnings from 2019. Although it's a different coaching group, different team. There's lots of similarities to their team and ours, and the experiences of across the last 4 years. And that game will undoubtedly be an important factor in the game on Saturday.
Right, and just I know a couple of the All Blacks have already been talking about maybe talking about revenge for the summer of 2022. I mean, we saw the kind of backlash that they were able to unleash after Soldier Field when they came to Dublin and they beat us. How do you mitigate against that? Or they're going to be. It seems like they're going to be fully pumped up for this one.
Yeah, of course. I mean, whatever you say about that series, it would have hurt them to lose at home against us. But we're just trying to focus on what we can do really well, Mick. And I think on the whole, we did that last night. There'll be parts of our game that we can get better at, and undoubtedly, conceding a couple of tries late on was disappointing. But the lads put an incredible shift in. And we probably missed a few chances as well to score, some more points. So I think what happened last summer is still probably in the back of their minds, and certainly, it's kind of human nature that would be the case. But at the end of the day, Saturday it's a different environment. It's a totally different game. It's a neutral venue. And we're going to have to be right on top of our game to beat that New Zealand team on Saturday.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Mick. Okay, I think that's everyone. So thank you very much.
Could I just ask one quick one, Peter, if that's okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, go on, Rory.
Sorry, just Simon. Is there any update on Robbie Henshaw? Keith was into the warm up. Is he okay? And if it came to it, would you have confidence in him and Jimmy O'Brien starting a World Cup quarterfinal?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Robbie did some running, captain's run. So a little bit like we're kind of probably understand a little bit more about their injuries, where they're at, and they'll both be running today, Ilsey and Robbie, and they'll be sort of progressing into training Monday and Tuesday. So again, it's probably a little bit early to say either way, Rory, but certainly if they get ruled out, Jimmy's been waiting in the wings as such, and he did an incredible job last November to come in and a couple of late call-ups and come off the bench and did incredibly well. So yeah, certainly there's no issue with Jimmy if he gets an opportunity, and hopefully